Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Voice People. I'm your host, Gina Anayana. Today in our studio, we have two special guests from New Dimension, right? And Derek and Becky. So welcome. Welcome you guys to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So I personally know New Dimension from New Dimensions from last year. So as Becky, I know you have been working for New Dimensions for over 19 years.
Yep.
And Derek, you about 3 years.
Yep, I'm almost to 3 years now.
How about you guys give our audience a little bit background of like who you are and what made you, still serving, or you are obviously just kind of like getting even deeper with this organization. Just kind of like, let's just start from there.
Absolutely.
Okay. We want to go first.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I've been here for 19 years, and about 19 years ago, I was doing a lot of work for profits and helping, just didn't feel fulfilled. And I ran into somebody, never heard of New Dimensions, and found out that there was this place that helped people, and they thought I would be good at it and asked me to come by, and I did. And I thought, I really like the idea of that. I applied and took a part-time job. Just got job coaching, taking people out in the community and getting them introduced to jobs, and the impact I saw of being able to help people. It's always been important to me. And so it just gave me that ability to be doing that in this role. And so it kept me there. And there was always such a reward that I just grew in there. I became a job developer. I became a supervisor. And now I'm the program manager over all the programs, just to keep it going and train our people that are coming on to take our place as we go and retire. I've been very worried about getting people in place so that I can leave and it can carry on. And we've got a really good team for that. So that's me. I just love everything about the job and being able to do it.
That's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing. We are all here to, the thing we worry about is when we leave, who's going to take over, who is the right person to carry on the mission, the legacy, right?
Yes.
And see, Derek be here for 3 years.
Right.
I think that's something I can not just you personally. I would just we see, when you're somebody involved in the organization for so long, now you kind of like guiding people and walk with them for a long time. Then eventually when they're ready, because you need to be both ready, right? So Derek, tell us a little bit of what got you in and what's your position right now? Yeah.
Well, I started as a job coach as well, and I moved up to job developer, which is helping.
Kind of similar path, is it?
Yes.
Very much the same path, actually.
Yes.
And now I am currently working as the employment supervisor. Before this, I was in the Army, and I actually was an EMT, so I've always kind of enjoyed jobs where I feel that I'm making a difference in somebody's life. And this job is the first job where I truly can feel that and see that every single day, where I can really see the difference you make in people's lives, and it really does make you feel good.
Yeah.
It makes you feel great.
So let's talk about make a differences, right? Now, this is definitely need to talk about history, right? So who founded New Dimensions? What's the history? Like how it developed to a certain way of how, because there's other organization in the community also help with disability or, different kinds of people, getting into the workplace. So share with us a little bit history. Share us like what's the differences between your organization versus, other organizations as general, right? Yes.
Yeah, so our agency is turned 50 years old in December.
Okay.
Back in 1974, the way I understood it was that there was one agency here that was already in Bay City doing some work like this, and they thought that there was a need for a second. And so the community came together and created New Dimensions, and it had grown since then. It has a different name even. It's had a name change. So, but I've only been here for 20 years, so almost.
Okay. So almost there, like half.
There I don't know too much about, but so we came about, and our mission has always been the same, and that's to help people with disabilities and people be a part of a community. And a lot of that has always been work related. It was a work driven mission to get people working and to give them the fulfillment. And the way we've done that is by teaching the community,
Mhm.
helping them learn and break down barriers
Yeah.
so that it becomes a more inclusive society.
Yes.
And in doing that, we see doors open. And over the last 19 years, people went from working in a sheltered workshop to now being 100% in the community and being part of their community. And
Reconnect, right? Integrate.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Working regular jobs,
Yes,
just like
working-
anybody else would.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So Derek, you're from your fresh 3 years baby, toddler, right? We're toddler. Our organization is 3 years old. So you being involved with the organization 3 years old. So with your fresh of, different viewpoints,
Yeah.
Becky is just so humble. 19 years not old enough. I need to start from beginning. You know what I'm saying? So from your perspective, looking back at the history, what are some things stand out, for you when you just onboarding, right? Learning. Like what are some things that you see that Becky is too humble to even take the credits?
Becky is an excellent teacher. She brought me on and has taken me under her wing the entire time and really taught me everything I need to know about this program. She has a lot of passion, more than anybody I've ever seen in our program, for what we do. And she's really just taught me what our company values are and why we help people and the best methods of how to help people, because sometimes we experience a lot of difficulties in our positions, and Becky is always there to help us work around those difficulties and get the job done. Problem solved. Yeah.
So talking about difficulties, what's your number one difficulty you encountered in the last 3 years? And Becky is like, hey, I got you. I've been there before. I know.
That's a good question. Paperwork. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, trust me. I think that's one of the tedious work is paperwork, right?
It can be very difficult finding certain placements because we work closely with the individual to find a placement that is a job placement that is going to benefit both them and the employer. But it's all person-centered, so everything is to their preferences.
Yes.
So that can be a struggle sometimes because we got to find something that might fit their schedule because they might have kids or something. So we got to work around that.
Yeah.
So that can be a difficulty, but it's something that we will work on, and we usually can problem solve our way through that.
Okay, this question is definitely for Becky because I don't think maybe you chime in because since you're for 19 years, I'm gonna use that number until you feel very comfortable thinking you own that 19 years. Okay? So do you guys have some data? It's like how many people you guys helped per se, help them to be successful, find a job and be integrated? Like, do you have the data? I think you're probably gonna
not that long ago, but we do keep data.
Exactly.
And we do it on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
And so we're into our second quarter of this year. And so we've helped we have anywhere from 47 clients right now just in
That's
one program.
Yeah.
But if you add all of them together, we have about, that's about 60 to 80 clients that we're working with. And we were recognized in our last review because we're a reviewed program.
Yeah.
And we were recognized for having high employment rate success and long employment retention.
Yep.
So we will go back and say we have somebody who successfully closed or graduated from our program because they're employed, we problem solved, and they're comfortable. We'll go back and revisit some of those people that have graduated, and we find that we just did 6 people who graduated over the last 3 years, and all 6 of those were still employed at the original business that they were hired at. Yeah, and so it's just really good. We have individuals that have been employed. One guy has been 27 years at McDonald's.
Yes.
And another guy was just recognized for his 5 years at Walmart. So we see that, and so our program, and so our program is recognized as that.
Yeah. You guys talk about a lot of program. We're definitely gonna dive into program, but before that, we're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Casey Path. I am the Vice President of Kidneys for Kids. Thank you so much for your consideration in supporting and donating to our nonprofit. Your support means everything. It helps us achieve our mission here. We are a nonprofit that specializes in being able to find donor matches across the nation for children in need. We have already had so much success, and we are looking forward to this next year. I was one of the first interviews with Brian Martindale, and my own son has had a kidney transplant. My husband was his donor, and it was such a beautiful process to see both sides. He is since then thriving, and we are having that at the forefront, and the goal is to help other children get back to that thriving state. Your donation, your support means the world, and we look forward to working with you.
Part we're going to talk about the program, because you guys refer many times the program, and I think our audience like basically wondering what is about the program. So let's talk about this program. Share with us.
Yeah.
We want to start
Well,
first.
I can just say that, first of all, I want everyone to know that the program is free and at no cost to the individuals that are in the program. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So our program helps individuals with disabilities find employment or get back into the workforce and break some of those barriers down that they might have and lead fulfilling lives. We accomplish that through helping with transportation, whether that means learning bus routes or giving rides to interviews. We help with the application process, from going to get an application or filling out the application online. We help with problem solving that they might have along the way, as well as practicing interview skills. We help do mock interviews, but we can also sit in on an interview with an individual if they choose us to do that. Cool. We help build a resume for them, and we continue to work with that individual after they have been hired somewhere, and we provide what's called follow-along support, where we continue working with them to ensure that they're not having any problems. We address any problems they might have, both with the employee and with the employer, to ensure success on all ends. And the program is all person-centered, as I mentioned before, meaning the individual makes all of the choices when it comes to anything in the program, and they can receive as little or as much support as they choose.
Okay. So how long is the program? Averagely, because everybody's different, right?
Sure, it varies. It tends to be about a year in total, depending on how long somebody works. Sorry, go ahead.
So to like a year to walk them through all the process that you're talking about?
Year and kind of in entirety is like the goal. Okay. So somebody gets referred to us and we begin working with them right away. And then once they get employed, usually it's about a year or so from that moment that we start looking at closing them out. We, like I said, we continue working with them and meeting with them to make sure that they're successful. And as long as they remain successful through that year, they need us less and less, then we graduate them from our program eventually.
Okay. So share with us what are some most challenging, part when you're working with you guys call a client or a student, or how you
individuals.
Individuals.
Those individuals, like what's the most challenging part? Like general, like what are the top three the areas that feel very challenging, like let's say career readiness or problem solving, or things like that.
I think the biggest thing is transportation.
Transportation is a big
transportation.
I think the biggest thing we always want to find out is where they live and what a lot of individuals don't have driver's licenses or can't afford the cars, so they're reliant on bus schedules and or walking or riding bikes. So we try to first find out a good geographical location for looking for that job.
So what do you do? So those trainings are in person, correct?
It's all in person, yes.
So if they have a transportation problem, how you solve that problem to get them in person?
So for example, if I got a new individual, we ask what their current transportation options are. Okay. And if they don't have anything, we can teach them how to use the bus and how to learn the bus routes and which bus you need to take when. We can assist with, if they have an interview, but they have no way to that interview, we can give them a ride to that interview. Okay. And then once somebody does get started, we can help them set up rides or find a way to ensure that they have a ride. And then eventually we hope that they learn to problem solve that themselves.
So you talk about how you move in, basically you guys have same career paths, right? Like within,
very similar.
So when you work with individual, like how long they need to be trained, like just walk me through a little bit, just like at what stage they can working with those like individuals, right? So
sure.
Do you start right when I would assume not.
There's really no readiness.
Okay.
If somebody says they are ready to work or they want to work, they are free to get
Well,
referred to us.
like I'm talking about the trainers or you guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So like
sorry.
yeah. So if I hire a new job developer,
Job developer.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
yes, that person comes in and works directly with their supervisor.
Supervisor. Okay.
Yeah, and is with that supervisor generally for a month.
Okay.
And then as depending on each individual again and how fast they pick things up, they slowly take on caseloads and it's a forever training program.
Exactly.
And you're
You're
always
always
learning. The big thing about there's no manual for working with individuals. I mean,
Yeah.
even me, I still they'll come to me and I'll be like, and I kind of throw out a couple of things and then we talk about it and it's just a hit or miss. I mean, you're always coming up with things that I've never done before or heard before.
There's a lot of team involvement to tackle obstacles that you don't see every day.
So do you work with, let's say if I assign to you, I use always the person working with me or you guys?
Yes, for the most part, we try to keep it with that same
great.
person always.
So do they choose a job developer or supervisor or they being?
They don't choose, but if for any reason that individual doesn't get along with that, or if they are with a male but they prefer a female, that is totally available.
Okay. So what are some other barriers you guys have, in this program? Before we talk about impact, because I want to kind of help people to walk through those things. Yes.
Yeah, work experience is a big one. A lot of our individuals don't have a massive work history, so just building that work history up, it can be a challenge. But we do have methods of doing that through like work experiences where the individual gets to work somewhere and kind of like a job shadow to get to learn some skills.
Cool. Yes. Okay. So Becky, you want to touch on a bit of the program impact in the community? You guys serving in the Michigan, right? Like
we do Bay and Hare Neck.
Yeah.
But we do also go into Midland, Saginaw, because we have a lot of people in the Bay Area that maybe are closer to Midland, and it's better for them, or Saginaw. So, or they drive themselves and they're interested in that. So there's no limit to that. And then our impact is that, like I said, we have a really big, high success rate with retention and we try to do a lot of upfront with the individual so that can happen, so a lot of planning so that they can be successful at the job they find and not be like, oh, we didn't plan for this or that. And then so when they find that job, they really stay there.
And one more thing I was going to mention about the impact. One great thing, she mentioned that we get reviewed yearly. In our review, the reviewers will sit down with some of the individuals that we
Who is the reviewer?
The state.
Okay.
It's a CMH state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So people know.
Community mental health. Yeah.
Not by me, but yes. Yeah. Okay. So like we're gonna dive into the more deep of this part of the program impact, and we're gonna take another commercial break. So we're gonna come back and talk about our impact and also our current what's going on in the community, so we can help people to support us. Okay. So we'll be right back. Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome back to this episode of Voice People. I'm your host, Gina Araniana, and we are in the deep conversation with Derek and Becky talking about the program impact. So let's dive back to the program impact, right? Number one, you mentioned that it has a long career retention, right?
Yes.
And the second part, I think Derek, you were sharing something. So what's the part that kind of help us to remember?
No worries. I was just talking about how we do get reviewed, and the reviewers speak with many of our individuals that we serve to find out their opinions on the services that they're getting and what sort of impact it's had on them. And we are shared that feedback is shared back to us. And some of the things you hear are just really incredible. You get to hear how some people are just about to give up on themselves, but they say their job developer didn't and stuck with them, and then they find employment and they find meaning in their life again, and stuff like that really sits with you and makes this job worth doing.
If this question is this came to my mind, if you would describe your relationship, not your relationship, the relationship between the job developer and individual, how would you describe this relationship if you use 3 words? 1 word is too hard for you. Becky, you can add into it.
I would absolutely say friendly or friends. I treat my individuals as if they're friends, not
you're helping
not
out
like they're a
clients
business or a client. Exactly. I treat them as if they're a friend.
And what
and just with respect.
Respect,
absolutely.
In a very respectful relationship, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And anything else that you want to add on?
I mean, those are the main 2, I would say.
Okay, so friendship and being very respectful, right?
Absolutely.
And you talk about when the question I have, another one is like, what do you think you can, looking back 19 years, you can look back 3 years, what is the secret to have such a long retention, those placement? What do you think you guys?
I think it really is listening to the individual and helping them really think about what it is that they want to do, and not just looking for, hey, you want a job and I know this person's hiring, so we're just go work there. You know, you're really taking into account all that's going to make them successful at their job.
Exactly.
You're looking, I mean, I know even myself, I mean, I don't like loud, busy places, and
so they are special customer design to match you with the environment that you design, instead of like, oh, you could go work there, just
we don't want to just stick everybody in McDonald's. We want to find a place that is going to benefit them and where they can feel successful,
and that they feel fulfilled and feel like they're actually
making a difference.
You can get employers that maybe would say, yeah, we can take this person on, but they don't really have a role and they feel it. So we want them to feel that they really do have a purpose at that job.
Yeah, purpose.
And that they can, we also want to help them feel that they can move up or move into different departments and grow in that job.
So have career just advancement, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So now the next part I think is very important is let's talk about what's going on. What are some events or fundraising events in in the community, and how can we support it with the platform we have as voice people, right? You guys definitely are helping a group of people have their voice being heard and being seen.
Yes.
So share with us those upcoming events or ongoing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have a new fundraiser that's gonna go on at the State Theater on October. I'm trying to race through summer. On April 26th is the date. It's a Saturday. The doors will open at noon, and it's going to be an all-inclusive talent show. And so we're going to have a fun-packed performances. We're going to have a 50-50 raffle. We're going to have a silent auction. And actually the silent auction is ongoing. It starts, and you can access it through our web or our Facebook event page. And it will go through all the way till the date of the 8:00 p.m., the date of our fundraiser. And so the tickets are available through the box office or a website or at the door. They're $20, $15 for students and veterans. And all proceeds are going to go directly to New Dimensions programs and helping make them successful. And we are looking for volunteers. We have a lot of stuff that ways that volunteers can help. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can contact us at New Dimensions, and our phone number is 989-892-8883, and you'll get us there. And so we're all excited about that.
Yes.
That going on. And another way that we're always looking for help from our community is with employers that maybe want to help make a better impact on the community. And they can team up with us to provide those work experiences. The work experiences are at no cost to them. They don't have any work to do, like reports or nothing. It's just opening up their business to us and arranging something with us so that we can get them in there, and it's under our liability insurance, so there's not even that problem. And it also not only does it give them the work experience, but it helps them build their references up and professional references.
Yeah.
So
And be able to add more to their resumes,
Yeah.
some volunteer experience. on that.
Yes.
that's a big problem for a lot of people with references. If they have to do references, they're trying to use their therapist or their,
Right.
Mm.
you know, doctor or
Yeah, because they don't have
their
other
job
options.
developer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Okay, so I do have a question. So who can enter? Who can participate this talent show? Like who can?
yeah,
Anybody, as far as I
Anybody,
understand.
they're-
There's no age limit. Just
14 and up.
14 and up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep, 14 and up. We're looking for all acts.
So do you guys will be at the end of event? Is like a you have number one, number two.
There's going to be a prize for first choice, second
first choice? Okay.
first
that's-
prize,
yeah.
second prize, and third prize. And then
Okay.
there's also going to be a audience choice.
Yep.
So the
Mm.
audience is going to have an opportunity to vote
Cool.
for their choice of performer.
Yeah. So in any way, sing, dance, poetry.
Yep.
You
And
know,
Yes.
we have
Okay.
somebody.
Now, I do just want to quickly mention the auditions for this particular show are over at this
We're
point.
still
Oh, the
accepting
auditions.
entrants.
Oh, my
What?
Yeah,
apologies.
we are still accepting entries. We still
Okay.
have a few entrance spots.
See, that's
available.
my fault. I
Yeah,
was
no,
not
they are
familiar.
over the auditions, but we just
Okay.
had somebody send us a video and we accepted them. And so if
So
somebody,
people
okay.
still can enter,
they
right?
still
Okay.
can just
Feel free to
contact
reach
us
out.
and yep.
What's the contact information?
Um,
Under your new
Yes.
dimensions
the,
Facebook
the
page or
Facebook
website.
page. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So before we closing off, of course, let me make a shout out, and we probably have a little bit of time to have some fun questions because we're all human
Okay.
working for
Yeah.
an organization, right? So we all have
Absolutely.
personality. So if you are someone want to looking for the opportunity to volunteer at this
Yeah.
beautiful organizations, they're really doing a lot of great work for people from
Yes.
all the walk to help them to place them in the position that they deserve and they
Right.
want to be. And also you guys also looking for the business. If you are own a business, small business, and you would like to work with Neo Dimensions to create this job opportunity or job shadowing, right? But
Yes.
definitely they are welcome to
We
to reach
love
out.
when employers call us looking
Yeah.
to hire somebody. That
Or
is
just team up with us in
Exactly.
some way.
Yes. Okay. So
we absolutely love
last a minute or 30 seconds, I'm gonna ask you each a question. If you use 3 words to describe you, what that would be? Chop chop. Okay, Becky, 3 words. Or even 1 or 2. What would pop in your mind?
I'm an advocate and
Great,
I am fun, I think.
that.
Great. Okay.
I'd say honest. I value honesty, respectful, and I like to be fun as well. Like have a good time, just be
Great.
loose.
Yeah.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this episode of Voice of People. Derek and Becky, they're definitely one of a kind, and it's my honor to be here to interview them, to have them share their story and then be the voice of the people.
Thank you,
So
Gina.
I'm your host, Gina Yana, and I will see you next episode. Thank you,
Thank
Becky,
you.
thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Gina.
All right. Welcome to this episode of Voice of People. I'm your host, Gina Nayana. And today in the studio, we have our guest, Chris Gerard. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Gina.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?